Hey, great Monday morning, everyone. Hope you're doing well. Cesar Mascoro Jr. in with our 15 minutes to mastery. I am with Manufactured Home Sales Mastery, and I'm coming to you live from Albuquerque, New Mexico right now. I'm out here making my way through to Las Vegas because this week is the MHI Congress and Expo in Las Vegas. So if you're going to be at the Congress and Expo, make sure you come on by booth number 632. That's where Manufactured Home Sales Master will be. That's where I will be. And that's where we will be able to get to meet up and discuss how we can help your sales teams, yourself, if you're a sales consultant, your community managers, if you're in the community space, to be able to take their lives, business, and career to a whole new level. But we come in every morning, I should say, at 8:15 a.m. Central Standard Time to get you going, providing you the information, motivation, and inspiration to get to a whole new level and start the day off right. So today we're talking about rejection, right? Later today, you'll get some information. Mondays is what I call Mindset Monday, wanting to get things right for housing consultants all throughout the country on certain topics. And today I want to talk about rejection, right? And overcoming rejection and how to deal with rejection because we deal with it so much. 80% of the people we speak to really can't or won't end up buying. And so we've got to do our part to make sure that we are set up to be able to deal with that 80% because that could wear on anyone. That would wear on anyone. So today we're talking about this. And so our phrase for today, it says, it's not really a quote. That's why I call it a phrase. It says, no is not rejection. It is redirection. It's all your perspective, right? What is your perspective on anything and everything that happens in life and in business? And that's how it's going to affect you in your life and in your mind. So it's not a rejection. It's simply a redirection. When a customer tells you no, they're simply redirecting you. When your client is saying no, they're not ready to move forward, or no, this isn't the way they want to do, or they don't want to do this now, or whatever it may be. It's not a no, it's simply a redirection. Depending on what we have done to prepare ourselves. And we're going to get into that, right? But first, I want to touch on the topic of what effect does rejection have on a housing consultant? And again, it all depends on our perspective. But especially for those the new hires, the ones that have been in the business anywhere from just getting hired through maybe the first year, even maybe a little bit longer than that. But really, it's within those first 6 months that you'll see if they were properly trained and ready to go and can overcome objections and these rejections in a strong manner, in a confident manner, then they should be okay. But we get a lot of the turnover, and we lose a lot of the housing consultants because they can't deal with the rejection. They're not set up to deal with the rejection. And that rejection can lead to fear and to doubt in whether or not they made the right choice in coming into this business, to doubt whether or not they can even do the business, to doubt whether or not there's even money in the business. And we all know that there is. We all know that there is. We just need to push through. However, in order to be able to push through, that sales consultant, that housing consultant needs to have confidence. They need to feel confident in the competence that they have to be able to deal with those rejections, to be able to redirect the customer, to be able to keep them moving forward so that they don't back out, so that they don't not make the purchase. So how can we help our housing consultants to be able to overcome that fear and that doubt that starts to happen when they start getting rejected on the phones, right? People aren't responding to the ads the way they want to. They're not coming in to see them. That's the first step. Are we setting them up correctly to be able to deal with the phone part of this sale so that they can set up the appointment, and an appointment that shows at a higher rate? Does you no good to set 10 appointments if only 2 are coming in. Sorry. You got to be at 50, 60% minimum show rate. So how can we do that, right? And it's all about how well prepared that housing consultant is to overcome that objection. Like we talked about already, on the phone game, that's a totally different skill than when in person, because when in person, we need to make sure that that interview is bringing to light the dominant buying motive. Because if we know what the dominant buying motive is of our client, there is no rejection or objection, right, that we can't come up with a sincere and honest rebuttal to. If you know the main reason why your customer, your client is looking to buy a home, there is no reason why you, or no way to come up with a sincere and honest rebuttal. And so that is why it's so important that in your interview, you are finding out their main reason for needing to buy a home. Because that is the problem that we're trying to solve, right? We talk about it all the time. We don't sell homes, we solve problems. And the only way you're going to solve a problem is by understanding what their dominant buying motive, because in there somewhere is the problem. And we've already spoken about how we find out what the dominant buying motive is, right? By asking that simple question of, other than not wanting to rent, Mr. Customer, what in here has you wanting to buy a home? And when you get that answer, you don't just want to write that down and move on. You want to park it right there. You want to spend some time on that question. You want to really dig deep into whatever their initial response is, because somewhere 3 or 4 questions down into that is the problem. But if you know what that dominant buying motive is, and when you're out in the home and they're trying to not move forward with the purchase, if they're giving you the rejection or objection, now you can, in here, come up with the sincere and honest rebuttal to be able to help that customer move forward with what they came in to see you about in the first place, which is making a decision on buying a home. So what is the way, right, that we can overcome these rejections, overcome the objections? There's a formula to it. There's a formula that we need to follow, and that formula, okay, is what we call the ERIC formula. Okay, it's an acronym, and that acronym is what we use in our closer school program, in our full house training cards. Right, we use that in order to be able to overcome these objections and come up with the right verbiage to be able to overcome. What does ERIC mean? Glad you asked, right? Well, first, the A is to acknowledge. We must acknowledge that objection. We must make that client feel that what they're thinking, what they're feeling, the doubt that they have is something that is, let me grab these real quick, okay? In our full house training cards, all of these right here are based on that program, okay, or on that formula. We acknowledge the objection first, right? They want to think about it. I completely understand. Most people are expecting you to want to be combative at that point. But when you agree with them, when you acknowledge the fact that they are okay for feeling that way, right? It's a little different than what they would normally expect. So you're acknowledging it first, and then from there, we repeat the objection. I completely understand that you would want to think about it. It's a big decision that we're making, and I would understand that you would think you'd want to think about it, right? So I'm acknowledging it, and I'm repeating it. And then from there, what I want to do is I want to isolate it. I want to make sure that that is the only thing that's keeping them from moving forward, right? I completely understand that you would want to think about it. It's a big decision that you're making today, Mr. and Mrs. Customer. Now, let me ask you this. Other than needing to think about it, is there anything else keeping you from moving forward with the purchase of the home today? Because if there is something else, now I know and I'm prepared to first deal with needing to think about it and then overcoming the next rejection or objection. But most of us don't ask. We don't take the time to really find out, is it just that? We're not asking deeper questions. We're not asking more questions. And so that customer's holding it in, they're keeping it in, and they've got that doubt in here that you've never resolved because you never even bothered to ask. Other than that, is there anything else? Just like when we're asking for the business, Most housing consultants, unfortunately, around the country do not even ask for the business. Or if they do it in some way that is not intentional at all, with no sort of purpose, no intent on truly receiving the business, right? Because the most clear and obvious way to ask for the business, other than price or payment, Mr. Customer, is there anything that would keep you from buying the home today? And that's when I get the rejection, right? That's when I get that objection. Well, we kind of need to think about it, Caesar. Hey, I completely understand, Mr. Customer, that you would want to think about it. It's a big decision that you're making today. However, let me ask you this question. Other than needing to think about it, is there anything else keeping you from moving forward today? I'm isolating that rejection or objection. Because once I know the answer to that, if it is the only thing, then from there, I move on to the close. Acknowledge, repeat, isolate, and close. I'm glad to hear that you feel that you would need to think about it, and I will move into the rest of my verbiage. And that's exactly what these cards are all based on that same formula. Okay. And in here, in this beautiful packet, you've got 50 of the top objections in manufactured home sales. 14 years of sales, true hands-on sales experience, right? 14 plus years here of objections that I've recorded, written down throughout the years so that I can prepare myself while on the sales floor to be able to deal with and fine tune those things. And they're in here, and you can get these ordered, okay, for yourself. You can get them manufacturedhomesalesmastery.com/full house. Get some order for yourself, for your full team. They're great cards to have. And they come with a gift also. But that is what helps us to be able to deal with the rejection. Now, first of all, we need to deal with the rejection up here, right? We have so much rejection in this business. Even when customers decide to move forward, how many of those deals do you lose? So we need to mentally be prepared and understand that is part of this business. You will never get away from rejection. You will never get away from rejections. You will never get away from the no's. But you simply have to understand that a no is not, it doesn't mean that's it, we're done. It simply means you need to redirect. You need to go in a different direction. The best way to be able to do that is by fully understanding your client's needs and wants for the home. Why do they need this home? What is the main reason? What is the problem you're trying to solve? If you know that, you can come up with any sincere and honest rebuttal to any objection you would get. And of course, you can use the full house training cards to be able to help you do that as well. And these are cards, folks, that your training needs to be daily. We need to sharpen our skills daily. You don't do it until you get it right. You do it until you can't get it wrong, until it's second nature. It's just part of you. It just comes out automatically. Whether it's the phone scripts, whether it's the in-person interview, whether it's overcoming objection, every part of your feature benefit, everything should just be natural. If you follow NBA basketball, right? One of the best right now at it over the last, I would say, I don't know, decade maybe, has been Steph Curry. As much as I hate to acknowledge the Warriors, but that guy, you can sense it, you can feel it. He just knows that ball is going on no matter where he's shooting it from. It's second nature to him. That's what you want to feel in your ads, phone scripts, in-person interview, feature benefiting, overcoming objections. It should just flow. But the only way you get there is by training daily. Do you think that Steph Curry got to that point just because he plays well in the games? We've all seen it. If you haven't, you should look it up. This man prepares daily, constantly. Just training, out trains everyone. And the type of training he does is just crazy. But that's why that feel, that ball, the game, everything about it, his dribbling, his shooting, it's second nature to him. It's just part of his being. And that's what it should be to us, because in this industry, in this business, there's so much you can do, so much you can accomplish. You just need to get out there and get it done. And so because of the high potential, the large potential you have for income, why would we not train to that level? Why would we not train to master our skills? So I hope that this helps with dealing with rejection, dealing with objection. We're going to be touching on that as we go on through the week as well. But like I said, if you're going to be in Vegas here Wednesday and Thursday, I invite you to come by booth 632. All right, come by booth 632. That's where Manufactured Home Sales Master will be at the MHI Congress and Expo. We're going to be there getting you all the information you need and taking part in a lot of different things that are going on during the expo as well. So you guys have a safe trip out there for those of you traveling to the MHI Congress and Expo. And for those of you back home that are staying home, handling business, make this week a great week. Start off April strong. All right. You guys have a great day. Make it a great week. And as always, I can't wait to meet you.